with a WrestleMania update on The Rock and more. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Touching on his time working with Sami Zayn in WWE, Dax Harwood revealed this on his FTR podcast. Unapologetically, Sami is very detail-oriented. He's a stickler for the things he does. It's the same as me, he's just less abrasive than I am. Sometimes he can get a reputation because of that, because some people are like, oh, that's not that important. Don't think about that, but to him, it is important. So in his mind, he could have always been there, and I think as well. Sami and I are very good friends. He traveled with us a few times. He's one of my favorite traveling partners. I knew the drive and determination he had from the beginning. I did not like it when I first met him. We had a tryout together in June of 2012 and I told him this story. Some issues happened. We were all in a hotel together and the cops came and started knocking on our doors, all of our doors. He and I almost simultaneously opened the door at the same time. He said, "Do you know where this guy is?" I said, "No, I don't know where this guy is." He said, "Well, you need to find out where he is." And he slammed the door. I'm like, this MFer. You know what I mean? Like, you don't tell me what to do. I don't care if you've been Ring of Honor champion or whatever you are. You don't tell me what to do. So I had a bad taste in my mouth. Oh, and then when we both got hired, we were all out to lunch with a couple of other people and we were talking or whatever. Sami was like, "You know who really surprised me that they got hired?" Everyone's like, "Who?" And he looked right at me and said, "You. I'm really surprised you got hired." And I was like, he doesn't have a filter. So we had words there, whatever. But he does have a bit of a reputation when you first meet him, I think, but that's because he's so passionate. Just like me, he's so passionate about it. I think he's finally been given the opportunity to do what he's always been able to do. Above talent is the opportunity. As long as you get that opportunity, you believe in yourself, and you've got the talents to do it, you can do it. If he wants to main event WrestleMania and make these people believe, if there's one person in this world who can do that, it's him. With him returning to commentary at the Royal Rumble, Pat McAfee addressed his comeback on his show, saying, "There was speculation, a lot of people talking about it. A lot of people thought I was going to be in the Royal Rumble. A lot of people thought I was going to be there. That was not figured out until late last week. That came together pretty quick. Not that there were any bad relations, it's just my schedule for the last 5 months and everyone's schedule, especially in WWE. My wife is pregnant. There was no bad beef or anything. It was just, I don't want to have to train enough to get into the Royal Rumble." They said immediately after I left, Hunter, Stephanie, and Nick, Rumble is like the perfect time to come back because that's when people come back and it's after college football season. I was like, perfect. I need something to keep me in shape. I get fat and I need something to keep working out for. I tried. Everybody saw me. I was getting after it. By week 9, I think I could have done a couple minutes in the Rumble, but I don't want to disrespect anybody. There were only 29 guys who came out because where was Rey Mysterio? Is he okay? There are only so many spots and there is a lot of danger and stuff that can happen. I told him maybe week 13 or 14 of the season, hey, want to let you know the season has been a grind with game day being an extra work day. I'm not going to be able to be in good enough shape for the Rumble. I don't want to disrespect Royal Rumble. I'm just letting you know where I'm at right now. I'm not waking up an extra hour or stay up an extra hour to get in shape or whatever is needed. It's one of those combos. We'll chat later, all good. It was the goal. Royal Rumble was the goal. I wasn't able to keep up with it because game day getting dropped in and what that schedule became. I landed 28 minutes before I was seen at the Rumble because of the plane delay. Speaking about McAfee's return, Michael Cole noted that he was not aware this would be happening, saying on the Pat McAfee show, "Honest to God truth, I usually know everything going on in our world today because of the position that I'm in. This is the first time in probably a decade that I legitimately was surprised at something that happened on the show. I legit didn't know if we would ever see you again in WWE. We talked back in September and you'd be back after football season. A lot in your life has changed since then. A lot in our company has changed since then. I legit didn't to know if you were ever going to be back. If you noticed, I haven't said much to anyone publicly about when you were coming because no one knew. When I sat down that day, Corey Graves and I prepared as a two-man booth like we always do. And when the music hit, when I think of Pat McAfee, I think of the White Stripes. When the first couple of bars of the new song hit, I didn't immediately recognize it. Then Triple H was in my ear. Are you going to sell it? I'm out to him in the spy cam. Sell what? Then I looked up and saw your video board and I'm like, you're ribbing me. The music hit and you came out. I didn't know what to say because I didn't know if you were coming out to be an announcer or to be the #1 entry in the Royal Rumble because we were starting with the Rumble match. Then I saw you in your blazer and I was like, he's coming out to be an announcer. I was so excited. Talking about her feud with LayCool, where she would be called Piggy James, Mickie James told 411 Mania, we talk about Michelle McCool and Layla who, you know, this was a pairing that they needed a monster heel faction. They needed someone for the people to truly, genuinely hate. Not be like, oh, I hate that person, but I still love them and I want to buy their merch. No, I hate these people. And they needed someone to step up and be that. And that whole Piggy James angle and all that stuff, as hard as it was at times, I have people that still come to me today and go like, you know, that storyline was very important, especially in those teenage years. It resonated with me because I was that person getting picked on, or I was that. And the fact that you could fight through and be strong, it gave me strength. And so when you can help not only create these moments for television, but moments that resonate with people that they can feel in their hearts and they can attach to and go like, that made a difference for me on a personal level, there's no bigger reward than that. That's when you know you've done something special. Talking about a potential Hall of Fame induction for his work in WWE, D'Lo Brown told the Unscripted podcast, you always want to be with the best and the greatest, and I would love being a Hall of Famer. I think I'm in the Hall of Very Good. I don't think I'm a Hall of Famer. I don't think I did it for as long enough, and that's just my opinion. While there had been speculation previously of a feud between the four horsewomen of WWE and MMA, former writer for WWE Chris Dunn revealed on the Public Enemies podcast that I don't think Vince was ever on board with it. I think others in the company were. I think it probably could have ended up happening eventually, but it wasn't anything ever really on the docket. I think some people really wanted it to happen and build towards it, but I feel like if everyone was still with the company now, it definitely would have. On these sessions, Samoa Joe addressed being released by WWE 2 times in the span of a year, saying that initially, as I understand it, unconfirmed, there were issues between the two upper echelons of management, and they were playing out their war with the careers and contracts of the people underneath them. After the initial one, I didn't have much of a chance to breathe because essentially, I was hired back within hours. The second time, I just kind of chuckled as I realized it was very much the same situation. At the same time, I wasn't bitter or mad. The truth of it is, and this is to give WWE some credence, is that I was expensive. I was expensive to keep around. If cutting my contract, if they say that saved the company money, trust me, I believe it did. I wasn't hot about it. It was just more the silliness of the situation, what they were doing, and the reasoning why they were doing it, which I can never officially confirm. But I've heard from enough people that I have a pretty good idea, including many of the people involved. After that, I think I spent a day pissed. More of the situation than the actual firing. Then all these super awesome opportunities literally materialized. Talking about Cody Rhodes, Dan Lambert had this to say to WrestleBinge about his time in AEW. He played the politics game better than anybody in history and sucked up to Tony Khan, man, and got his way all the time. What the hell is a chief brand officer? What does that even mean other than to feed your ego? With her returning at the Royal Rumble, many have been wondering if Nia Jax will be sticking around in WWE. On the official website for WWE, she is still listed in the alumni section, as no reports of a new contract being signed have come out. With Brock Lesnar and Gunther coming face to face in the Royal Rumble, Dave Meltzer talked about this possibly becoming a feud, saying on Wrestling Observer Radio, Elimination Chamber, and then Lashley causes Brock to lose to Gunther in Montreal. Yes, he could do that. The only thing I was told is that Lesnar is not facing Gunther at WrestleMania. That doesn't mean he's not facing him at all. They did that stare down for a reason. I'm presuming that, well, I mean, we'll see. They could go with Lashley and build it to like a big stipulation match for WrestleMania coming off of Montreal 2. Speaking to Give Me Sport about a return to WWE, heavyweight boxing champion Tyson Fury said, "I'm hoping to get back in there soon. They're doing Clash at the Castle too soon, I think, so I'm looking at maybe getting back in there. I'm looking at taking that heavyweight title for sure. If Roman Reigns vacates or something, then maybe me and Drew can finally get that battle on." While it's been said that The Rock will not be taking part in a match at WrestleMania due to not having enough time to get into ring shape, Dave Meltzer pointed out on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dwayne's not wrestling anybody else on the show unless it's a 3-second match. I mean, he could go do that, he could do an angle. He did not feel that he had the time to get into the shape he needed to be in to do a WrestleMania caliber main event, and left the door open for next year. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.